Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So today we are reading from first canto, chapter 11, text 14. Okay, yeah. So you do the repetition here, right? It's okay. So Samarjita Mahamarga Rachapana Kachatvaram Siktanganda Jalairuptam Palapushpakshat Tankurai Samarjita Mahamarga Rachapana Kachatvaram Siktanganda Jalairuptam Palapuspaksa Takankurai Samarjita Mahamarga Rachapana Kachatvaram Siktanganda Jalairuptam Palapuspaksa Tankutarahi. Okay, now, gentlemen. Samarjita Rachapana Kachatvaram Siktanganda Jalayuktam Palapuspakshadrankulaihi Samarjita Mahamarga Chipana Kachatvaram Tankula Julayuktam Palapuspaksatankuraihi. So ladies, Samarjita Mahamarga Rachapana Kachatvaram Tantana Jalairuptam Palapuspaksatankuraihi. So, Samarjita, thoroughly cleansed. So, Mahamarga, highways. Okay, I do first Sanskrit, right? Racha, lanes and subways. Apanaka, shopping marketplaces. Chatvaram, public meeting places. Siktan, moistened with. Ganda Jalaihi, scented water. Uptam, was straw with. Pala, fruits. Puspa, flowers. Aksata, unbroken. Ankuraihi, seeds. Okay, so translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada. So, translation. The highways, subways, lanes, markets, and public meeting places were all thoroughly cleansed and then moistened with scented water. And to welcome the Lord, fruits, flowers, and unbroken seeds were strewn everywhere. So, purport. Scented waters prepared by distilling flowers like rose and keora were requisitioned to wet the roads, streets and lanes of Dwarkadama. Such places, along with the marketplace and public meeting places, were thoroughly cleansed. From the above description, it appears that the city of Dwarkadama was considerably big, containing many highways, streets, and public meeting places with parks, gardens, and reservoirs of water, all very nicely decorated with flowers and fruits. And to welcome the Lord, such flowers and fruits with unbroken seeds of grain were also strewn over the public places. Unbroken seeds of grain or fruits in the seedling stages were considered auspicious, and they are still so used by the Hindus in general on festival days. So here we have the reception of Krishna to Dwarka. Right? Krishna was away for a long time from the city, and of course the citizens who are all pure devotees of the Lord, they were all missing Krishna. And now of course when Krishna is back, they are all very anxious to receive him. So everyone is offering whatever best they have to receive Krishna, right? Some are offering flowers and grains and different types of decorations. Some are singing or dancing or playing instruments or going to the top of their houses to see Krishna. So everyone is offering whatever best they have to make Krishna happy, to give a royal reception to Krishna. And of course, this shows us this attitude that we should also try to cultivate. Because of course, in the beginning, like when we start Krishna consciousness, we don't really know who Krishna is. Like first time that we come to the temple, who is this one in the altar, right? We don't really know. But of course, as time passes, not only we start to understand who Krishna is, but we start developing a relationship with him. First, very distant, very reverential, but gradually we start to see Krishna as someone close to us. And just like for example, when you don't see your mother or your son for a long time, when you finally see, you want to receive them. Oh, my mother, my son, I'm so happy to see you, right? And similarly, when we see Krishna, when we start developing this love for him, we want also to show some feeling, some sentiment, offer something to him, right? Make him feel like expected, feel that he is loved, right? So this is natural. This comes from relationship. Because Prabhupada speaks a lot about the Mayavadis, right, in the books. Two groups that Prabhupada is always speaking about, the Mayavadis and the Sahajiyas. Right? Mayavadis even more than the Sahajiyas. And we may think that, why Prabhupada speaks so much about Mayavadis? Like, it's just some group of people in India, who cares, these Mayavadis? Why every purport Prabhupada is speaking about the Mayavadis? But it's not just a group in India. Mayavadi means every conditioned soul. Impersonalism is the default state of the conditioned soul. Means or there is no God, or God is not a person. God is not a person means I don't have a relationship with him. I don't care about him. So that's impersonalism. I don't care. Like they made a motto in New York, I don't care. Right? That's their mantra. Right? So that's impersonalism. I don't care. This means impersonalism. Like this can be applied everywhere. This can be applied to all kinds of relationships. When you don't care about your friends or about your family and so on, this is impersonalism. This is a form of impersonalism. When we don't care about Krishna, that's also impersonalism. That's the definition. And that's from where we start. We all start from there. I don't care. Who is Krishna? I don't know. And then gradually we try to get out of it. We try to move away from this impersonalism and gradually come to appreciate Krishna, appreciate his devotees, serve Krishna, serve his devotees, have affection for Krishna and for his devotees, and so on. So this means that we are moving out of impersonalism and we are finally coming back to our healthy, normal position as souls, eternal servants of Krishna, right? That is this personal relationship with Krishna and with everyone, right? Not just with Krishna, also with his devotees, and not only with his devotees, but with everyone. Because everyone actually is a devotee of Krishna, right? To think that, oh, this is a devotee, this is not a devotee, this is material consciousness, this is duality. There is no non-devotee, there is no jiva who is not connected with Krishna. It's impossible, right? So everyone is a devotee of Krishna. It's just that some, they are, more awakened, they are remembering, and others, they are still sleeping on the lap of Maya, right? But everyone is a devotee of Krishna. In the absolute platform, everyone is a devotee. That's why, devotees in the highest stage, they don't really discriminate. They don't really see difference between devotee and non-devotee, because they develop this perfect vision that they see in the spiritual platform. They don't see anymore the material duality. They don't see the body at all. They see only the soul. And not even the soul like the jiva, the subtle body inside of the heart. He sees the soul as the soul in his original position, in his constitutional position as an eternal servant of Krishna. And it still exists, right? We think that I'm the body. Like, not we, but most people, they think that I'm the body, right? If they don't think I'm the body, they think I'm the mind or the intelligence or sometimes the ego, right? So, or they think they are the gross body, or they think that they are the subtle body or some component of the subtle body. But we are neither, right? We are not the gross body. We are also not the subtle body. To understand we are not the subtle body is a little bit more difficult, but with philosophical introspection, we get there also. So I'm not the subtle body. So who I am? I'm the soul. And who is the soul? The eternal servant of Krishna. Right? So when you take away the gross body, you take away the subtle body, what is left? The soul, the pure soul, the eternal servant of Krishna. The soul, Lord Kapila explains in the 3rd canto. We will get there, right? For now, we are still in the 1st canto, but soon we will be in the 3rd canto. In the 3rd canto, Lord Kapila, he explains that the soul never actually comes in contact with matter. That's an interesting concept. He gives a very interesting example. He starts explaining how Krishna doesn't come in contact with matter. How it works. Like, well, how Krishna is not in contact with matter? Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, Kshirodakashaya Vishnu, he's everywhere, he's inside every heart, every atom. How is he is not in contact with matter? Yeah, he's not. That's how it is. So Lord Kapila, he explains, contradictory as may appear. So he explains like that. So it's just like you have a room. Imagine that you have some kind of bunker, right? Completely closed room, right? Completely dark, right? Dark. There's no light there whatsoever. And you make a small hole on the wall, right? So presuming that the sun is in the right place, the sun is going to shine through this hole on the wall. Doesn't matter how small it is, right? The light of the sun is going to enter into this room, this ray of the sun. So now imagine that you have some pot of water on the ground. So the light of the sun, it goes directly on this pot of water. So now you have a reflection of the sun on this pot of water, right? Now the sun is inside the room. Is it inside the room? Not exactly, right? If the sun would enter the room, there would be no more room, right? It would be vaporized, right? But the sun, the reflection of the sun enters the room. And this reflection of the sun on the spot of water it is still powerful enough to reflect again on the walls. And like this, the whole room is illuminated. So the sun is present everywhere in the room, but not directly, right? Through its rays, through this reflection. So Lord Kapila, he explains that it's like that. You have Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu is far away from Maya, right? He just looks in the direction of the material energy. That's all, right? He doesn't come in contact with the material energy at all. Then you have Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. Garbhodakashaya Vishnu is like the reflection of the sun on this pot of water, right? So he enters inside the room, but at the same time he doesn't, right? He becomes present in the form of a reflection. So this is the Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, he expands into Kshirodakashaya Vishnu. Kshirodakashaya Vishnu is like the reflection of the sun on the pot of water, reflecting again on the walls and illuminating the whole place. So Kshirodakashaya Vishnu, he is also not directly present, but at the same time he's everywhere. Like, that's interesting. Like, Krishna, he reconciles all kinds of contradictory qualities. Right? He's here, but he's not here. Right? He's the biggest, but he's the smallest, and so on. Right? So, and then what about us? The same as example applies to us. Right? Tattvanasi, very famous passage of the Svetasatara Upanishad. Tattvanasi means you are like Krishna. The jiva is like Krishna. The jiva is not Krishna. That's important to understand, right? Otherwise, Mayavadi. So the jiva is not Krishna, but the jiva is similar to Krishna, right? Achincha Beda, Beda Tattva. So it's similar and different at the same time. So the jiva is similar to Krishna. So the jiva also doesn't enter directly in contact with matter. Prabhupada says that it's just oil, and just like oil and water. Oil doesn't mix with water. You can shake as much as you want, right? It always comes back to the surface. So the jiva also reflects on the false ego. That's the first reflection. And from the false ego to the senses. And then the whole body, right? So just like Mahavishnu is so powerful that he illuminates simultaneously so many universes, the jiva illuminates one individual body. But the principle is the same. The jiva is also not directly in contact with matter. So a pure devotee, he sees that. He doesn't see the reflection. He sees the original. He sees the soul, which is always pure and is always the servant of Krishna. Right? That's what we are. Right? Eternal servants of Krishna. You take everything else away, that's what is left. That's the identity that is left. Servant of Krishna. So here in this passage of Srimad Bhagavatam, we have this reception of Krishna to Dwarka. And this is very, very extremely instructive pastime. We may think that, there is nothing in this chapter, like just this description of grains and water and fruits and so on. And I can just go through this chapter, right? There is not much here. Let's go to the next one. But actually, this chapter is actually really, really important, because this chapter, it describes how different people with different mentalities, different natures, from different backgrounds, with different professions, and everything else different, they can come together to serve Krishna. That's what the Sankirtan movement is about, right? Sometimes we think that spiritual life, it means that everyone should think the same. Everyone should dress the same. Everyone should eat the same. Everyone should sleep at the same time, wake up at the same time. And okay, this works for the temple, but when you try to apply this outside of the temple, or even in this temple, it doesn't really work. Like, people have different tastes, different mentalities, right? So when you try to apply this kind of generally, it doesn't work. Because that's actually not what Krishna consciousness is about. There is a name for that. That's called communism. That's communism. Communism is this philosophy that everyone should be the same. Man, woman, everyone the same. Everyone dressing the same. Everyone speaking the same. Everyone thinking the same. And if you don't think the same, we send you to Gulag, right? That's communism. Like we had this phase already, right? We don't want to go back. So Krishna consciousness is actually different. Varnashrama is a different concept. Varnashrama means that you recognize differences. You recognize that people, they have different natures. You have men, you have women, you have Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and then in these 4 divisions, you have all kinds of varieties, right? Because you have different types of Vaishyas, different types of Kshatriyas, different types of Shudras, different types of Brahmanas. Anyway, in these 4 divisions, you fit all kinds of people there. So Varnashrama means we see the differences between people and we respect these differences, but it's just that we try to engage everyone appropriately, according to this nature. We try to see where this nature fits in the service of Krishna. And then we try to train this person, so he or she can develop his nature to the fullest, develop his qualities, to the maximum, and from there we teach this person how to engage it in the service of Krishna. This is Varnashrama. We think that Varnashrama is about, ladies covering the hair, Stri Dharma, communism, again. Right? You try to make everyone the same. That's communism. We need to get out of it, right? Throw it in the dustbin of history. Varnashrama means you accept the differences, but you try to teach everyone how to use these different natures and whatever difference in the service of Krishna. And here in this chapter, we see exactly this applied in practice, right? You see that there are Brahmanas receiving Krishna. There are some high-class ladies going to the top of the palaces. There are musicians and actors and all kinds of artists. There are common people, working people, receiving Krishna servants and masters, and even prostitutes. There are prostitutes here described. Like how you can have prostitutes in Dwarka, like the city of Krishna? How is this possible? Everyone comes to this question when it comes to this chapter. What? Prostitutes, okay. The Brahmanas I can understand, the singers I can understand, the actors, okay, but what prostitutes are doing here, right? In the description of Krishna. So see, even the prostitutes, they are engaged in the service of Krishna. So this shows that in Dwarka, everyone is a devotee. In all kinds of ways of life, all kinds of profession, or whatever you may call it, everyone is a devotee of Krishna. And that's the point here. It's not about everyone being in this way or that way. The point is that everyone loves Krishna. Of course, the prostitutes here, the word is used in a little bit different way than we normally use. Almost everywhere, when Prabhupada uses this word prostitute, means an unmarried woman that has affairs with different men. Like a free woman, we can say. That's what it's called, prostitute here. In Vedic culture, is a little bit more strict, right? But anyway, so that's why, for example, Prabhupada calls in a few purports the Apsaras prostitutes. He says, the Apsaras, they're like prostitutes in the celestial planets. Because the Apsaras, they're like that. Like they're free, they go to this king and then that king. That's why this word is used. So this word is used more or less in the sense that we both use the word courtesan or something like that. Like some free woman, some woman that sings, some artist, unmarried, one man, the other man. So that's how it's used here. It's not the way, it's not what we normally think about it. It's a little bit different. But anyway, you see that even persons who don't have a very high social position is still the same way they love Krishna. And that's the point here in Dwarka. And not only they all love Krishna, but they all cooperate to serve Krishna. And you see that because they are Krishna conscious, because everyone sees himself or herself as a servant of Krishna, there is no disagreement. There is no enmity that, oh, you are a prostitute, oh, I'm a brahmana. No, everyone is interested in serving Krishna. No one is interested in fighting with the neighbor, although there are differences. So see, here this is a higher application of the concept of Krishna consciousness, right? That we respect the differences, that we appreciate the service that everyone does, that we appreciate the love that everyone has to Krishna, and instead of trying to put people down, we try to train them and teach them how to serve Krishna better. Right? And that's the concept of Varnashrama. That's which is expanded in the whole concept of Krishna consciousness. So when we come to this understanding, then Krishna consciousness becomes something that is applicable for everyone. That's the concept of Krishna consciousness that Prabhupada had, and that he is explaining in his books, and that we are still in the process of understanding, right? That's why our movement is still small, right? We are still trying, we are still influenced by communism, by impersonalism, but when we finally are able to fully understand these concepts that Prabhupada explains in his books, then Krishna consciousness will become something that will be universally applicable, that anyone can come and learn something that he or she can use in his life. That's what we are trying to learn by studying Prabhupada's books. So, if you have any questions or comments, you can raise your hands or... Hare Krišna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yes? One question here. You can ask first.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for this very uplifting class. My question is about this guidance. Actually, it's important that we have this mentorship of someone who can engage us, because we may think, okay, I'm serving Krishna with this or that, but our motivation or our kind of engagement cannot be properly settled. Maybe you can say a few words more about this guidance, which is important, and that our mentor is can really see our nature and engage us in a proper way.
Yeah, so the idea of Vedic culture is that we always learn from someone who knows more than us, right? Some superior person. So, for example, children learn from the parents, right? Child is growing up, is learning from the parents, and then the child starts going to the school, and then he or she learns from the teachers there, and from older children even, and then maybe one goes to Gurukula, and then there is some senior devotee there who is teaching, educating these boys, and so on. And then when one is adult, then one has a guru and or husband, if the husband is also enlightened, and so on. So there are so many higher persons that we learn, right, during our lives. We are always learning from someone, and that's the idea of Vedic culture, because this is the process of transmission of culture and knowledge, right? Nowadays, children often they are educated by TikTok. Right? That's probably not a good standard of education. Right? This is not transmission of culture. So culture means we learn from more experienced people, and especially we learn from them in a personal relationship. Because if the person is not close to us, is not dealing with us, living, observing us, then how this person is going to understand what we are going through, and how this person is going to apply his or her experience, right, in connection to our lives. So it needs to be, these two characteristics need to be present. The person needs to be wise, experienced, and two, there must be a personal relationship between us. Right? So that's the idea of having a guru or a Siksha guru, Diksha guru or Siksha guru or mentor. The idea is that is someone who is able to teach us, right? Who knows more than us, one, but also that is close to us, that observes us and that teaches us. But of course, the mentor also, maybe he's not perfect, he or she. Maybe he doesn't have he's not all-knowing, right? At least we can say, right? So maybe this person is not perfect. Maybe this person has limitations. Maybe his knowledge is not complete. So how this person can help us still? One, he can help us as much as he knows, right? Whatever he knows, he can share. That's one point, right? Any older person, he knows more than us, at least in certain aspects. Maybe in some aspects we may know more, but like how to use a computer, probably younger person knows much better than an older person. But there are other aspects of life that any older person will understand better. So this can be taught, right? Even an ordinary person can teach us something on some area. And especially when we speak about Krishna consciousness, any senior devotee, he will have more experience. He will understand better the practical application of spiritual principles, and he will be able to help us in certain areas. So this is one level. But that is another level. And this one, that is when it becomes really important. If this devotee who is acting as a mentor, if he or she is connected with Krishna, then Paramatma in the heart can reveal anything that he needs to know to help this person. And that's really where it becomes interesting. That's the difference between a spiritual mentor or a guru and any ordinary person who can teach us something. When there is this connection with Krishna, then this person can help us. Right? So connection with Krishna means when we give up false ego. We give up, I think like this, I was taught like this, in my time it was like this. When we give up this, and we just sincerely study Prabhupada's books, we hear from other seniors, we hear from our own spiritual master, we chant very attentively, and giving up all these concepts connected with the false ego, we start hearing Krishna from inside the heart. And then Krishna is going to start telling us. We will acquire, a sixth sense, that we will just understand things, and we will be able to help people. That's when we really come to this level of, being a mentor or a guru.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you to come to visit us, to take extra effort to come so far. So I have similar question. Actually, you partially already answered, like how one knows either he's properly engaged, because there is mix of different varnas in everyone. It looks like. Then also when you investigate through the seniors, also you get different answers, and there is also very strong emphasis from Prabhupada to do as much preaching or book distribution. So then, yeah.
how to find exactly what is my place in life, what is my duty, what is my occupation. Right? The point is that Varnashram is very nuanced also. It's just like, you have any display, any screen, like any monitor. It's composed of these individual dots, these pixels, right, that have 3 dots inside. One green, one blue, and one red. Right? So you have these 3 colors, and just by, changing the intensity of these 3 individual colors, you can produce any color, 16 million colors or more. Right? A little bit more blue becomes something else. Right? So similarly, the Varnashram means you have these 4 Varnas, but you have is nuanced. It's not Brahmana is this, Kshatriya is this, Vaishya is this, Shudra is this, and you have only 4 options. You need to fit into one of these 4. It needs to be exactly like this. Again, communism. Right? Stalin is trying to affect our consciousness. No, it's nuanced. So you have Brahmanas. You have different types of Brahmanas. Brahmana means starting from the karma kandi, the Brahmana who is completely ignorant of the Vedas, who just knows about mantras and demigod worship, all the way to the Vipra, all the way to the pure devotee, who fully understand about devotional service. Kshatriya also have so many types of kshatras, since starting from small administrators who just manage some village or some small tract of land, or one who just fights, all the way to someone like Maharaja Yudhishthira. Vaishya also have bankers. You have people who do commerce. You have people who plant, who work with the land. You have people who take care of cows. You have people who make different kinds of products. So you have all kinds of types of Vaishyas. And Shudra is all kinds of workers doing all kinds of things. So it's very, very nuanced. Even to modern society, when we understand nuanced, these nuances of Varnashram, we can even apply to modern occupations. When we really understand it. We are not there yet, but one day we may come there. So that's the point. It's very, very nuanced. But there is a higher thing. And that's the key, actually, to applying Varnashrama to our day and age. And that's the way Prabhupada was seeing it. How I can serve Krishna. That's the main point. How I can use whatever talents I have in the service of Krishna.
So to be in that prayerful mood and expecting, like you mentioned before, that Paramatma will reveal that at the right time you will recognize somehow.
No, it's actually easier than that even. Like, you see someone coming to the temple, right? You try to understand what kind of talents this person has, what kind of inclinations this person has, and what kind of tastes and habits, and we just try to think, try to figure out how this person can use these talents to serve Krishna. That's all. This is easier, right? So we engage this person, and then gradually, as we understand this person better, we try to adjust. Oh, maybe you can also do this, or maybe you can do a little bit different. We see that you also like this or that, and you also have this or that talent. And by this process of adjusting and connecting these talents and inclinations with the service of Krishna, we can come to a position that works for this person, that allows this person to use his or her nature in the service of Krishna. Especially nowadays that everyone has mixed nature. Like before, people were really Brahmanas or really Kshatriyas, or really man or really woman. Nowadays, no one really knows. I'm a man, I'm a woman. There are people who are confused even about that. And then they change. Sometimes a few years, they're man, and then they become woman, and then they become man again. And people are confused even about that. What to say about other things. So everyone has mixed, and actually not even today, even in previous years, you had personalities who were almost in the middle. For example, Yudhishthira is a little bit Kshatriya, a little bit Brahman. So even in the Mahabharata you find it, right? Shikanti, like man, woman, So even in the Mahabharata you find examples of people with mixed natures. And what you say about nowadays. So when you try to, kind of force, stereotypes on people, it doesn't work very well. But when you start from understanding the person and connecting this with the service of Krishna, then very quickly we come to something that works. Because when people are engaged according to their natures, they can serve Krishna much better, in a much easier way. Because if someone has a nature of a Brahmin, right? His nature is to study, to teach, and so on. And you put him to, break bricks, break stones. And you tell him that, no, this is service to Krishna. This is what service to Krishna means. If you want to serve Krishna, you need to break the stones. This person, I don't really want to serve Krishna. Thank you very much. And this person goes away. Right? But if you understand what is the nature of the person, we need people like you here, You can study, you can give class, you can work at BBT, translating the books. You can write new books. You can make, courses. You can teach them. Really? I'm interested. Where I start? So when we can recognize these natures of people and engage them appropriately according to their natures, one, they do much better service. And there is another point. When we do some service that is according to our nature, we can do it 24 hours per day. Maybe not 24 hours, but let's say 8 or 12 maybe. Right? We can do it continuously because it's not difficult for us. It's something that is interesting for us. It's something that we like to do. And then we can really serve Krishna continuously. Right? Because if we do some service that is very difficult, that is very against our nature, it's very difficult to do it continuously. Like we will do 1 hour and then, okay, now I need a vacation. 30 days vacation, right? After 1 hour of breaking the stones, right? But when we find a service that is according to our nature, then we can just do it. And that's the secret for everything in spiritual life. Like even for the most basic things, follow 4 principles, right? What is the secret? Like to follow 4 principles can be easy or can be extremely difficult. What makes it difficult? When we don't have the high taste. When we don't have the high taste, then it's very difficult because we pass in front of a restaurant, we pass in front of a bar, we pass in front of a night house, Anything we pass in front, we are attracted to, right? Because we don't have this high taste in spiritual life. When we have the high taste, then it's easy to avoid everything else, right? If you are starving, 30 days without eating, right? Imagine, you are dying, out of starvation. And you see some dry bread, on the ground. Someone thrown away this bread. This bread looks like the most attractive thing in the universe. Because you are dying, you see some food, dry bread in the ground. You are attracted to that. And it's very difficult for you to not eat this bread. You need to really, chant, 64 rounds, to not eat this bread. But if someone gives you a pizza, and then another pizza, and then a third pizza, you are eating pizza until you are, almost dying out of eating pizza. And then someone offers you dry bread. Take away this bread. I don't want this. Right? The same dry bread, but now the situation is different. Now you are not starving. Now you are very well fed with very nice prasada. Right? So now you don't want the dry bread. To avoid this dry bread is the easiest thing in the world. So that's the difference. When we get a high taste, it's very easy to avoid everything that is material. But to have this high taste, we need to be engaged in the service of Krishna continuously, right? Or at least close to that, at least most of the time. And that's the only way to be engaged continually in the service of Krishna, if we are not like Uttamadhikaris, to do some service that is according to our nature. So when we find that, then it becomes easy. And that's exactly the problem that we often have. We have this stereotype of what Krishna consciousness is. Oh, Krishna consciousness is this. You need to think like this, you need to dress like this, you need to eat like this. Do you understand? Okay. But this is like sending the Brahmana to break the bricks, you know. It's very difficult. He's going to have a very difficult time adjusting to that. Right? But when we understand that no, Krishna consciousness means to love Krishna. Okay, there are different ways that you can serve Krishna. So let's try to find what works for us, for you. Then everyone can be a devotee. Everyone can serve Krishna. See, even the prostitutes, right? Bhagavatam mentions. Even the prostitutes are serving Krishna. So see, everyone can serve Krishna if we know how to engage them properly. Yes? You are invisible to the others.
And one more question. What would you say about this point that on the beginning they usually engage devotees in all kind of services, and as far as I understand, it is because of polishing ego, and then all this, maybe these devotees in the beginning don't like so much these services in which they are engaged. Is this just a beginning phase, or is it needed to be like that, and or what would you say about it?
Jananda Prabhu also, like disciple of Prabhupada, right? Jananda Thakur, he actually mastered these secrets of how to engage people in service, and that was his preaching technique. He won't make devotees working in there is this story that he's making these yatras, these carts for Lord Jagannath, right? So he's under the cart, right? He's working there, fixing something under the cart. So only his feet is out, right? And then some person is passing. Ordinary person, right? Not a devotee, normal person. So he sees some feet, some steps, right? Close to the cart. And said, hey, you! And the person stops. Me? Yeah, you! Do you know how to hold a hammer? So, yeah, I know. Okay, can you give me a hand? Can you help me a little bit? And the person, okay, what can I do? So, okay, and then he would get out of the cart, and then he would teach something very simple, and the person would start doing it. Right? And that's how he would make devotees, like this. He would just, engage people whom he will meet. Usually just asking for help on something very simple. So that would be a start. Right? Can you hold a hammer? Yeah, I can. Can you hit a nail? Yeah, okay. So they would start like this. But of course, they will not be, hitting the nail their whole lives. Right? They would start doing something simple, and then gradually, he would engage them in doing more specific services. So in the beginning, of course, the idea is just to engage the person in some simple service, so this person can get a taste, and also the person can get some sukriti, some purification. And then from this starts, a person can become a devotee. And then when he becomes a devotee, then he may want to commit more. Oh no, what more can I do? Right? And then you can start engaging this person. That's how it works. Because without starting somehow this process of service, it's very difficult to break with this impersonalism. It's very difficult for anyone to become a devotee. Oh, just come to the temple on Sunday. If the person never does any service, he just comes and sees the deity, it's difficult to become a devotee. The person tends to remain in the border. Right? But when a person starts doing some service, this kind of breaks this barrier, and then the person can enter. There is this interesting pastime also of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur. Some rich man, he came to ask questions. Right? So he asked the question to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, and he said, you ask such and such. He knows the answer to this question. And this rich man, he started going around the temple and asked, where is such and such? And he found this Prabhu working in polishing paraphernalia for the deity. And he said, I had some question, can you answer? I said, okay, but can you help me first? I need to do the seva. So he was, okay. And he started helping to polish the paraphernalia, right? So he was there like half an hour polishing the paraphernalia, and then he understood. He understood the point, because the answer came to his mind. Right? Because Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur understood the point that this question that he had is not exactly a philosophical question. It's about he needs to have the adhikar. He needs to have the qualification to understand the question. So for that he needs to do some service. So that's the way he found to engage in service. And as soon as he did a little bit of service, the mind cleared a little bit and he could understand.
Thank you.
Okay? So I think it's time, right? So, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.